Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Chronicles. Hey guys!
This is season 1 of Trekyards.
Oh my god. No, your
Who's
camera
in
should
the
be looking more
background?
at your chin at that point then. And I've got a couch behind me.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Captain Foley of Trekyards. We're going to talk about some time travel pokery maybe going on with this latest episode of Prodigy, which is episode 6, called Kobayashi.
There was a couple of mic drop moments. And we've done a little bit of thinking between recordings, and it's obviously a must to talk about. We've got some data, some math, and it's so interesting, Stuart, that the writers and producers must be going, we're going to throw a curveball, and a curveball, and a curveball. So set up the scene, Stuart. Set up the scene, and we'll get into the math.
There is a moment in the episode where we get to stardate 43929.9, which, in our calculations, is what year, Samuel?
Well, they say 17 years ago. The year of the show.
So 17 years before where we're at in the show, yes.
So it's 2366.
17 years ago, we get a flashback to the Diviner, and he's talking to Deathlock, and Deathlock's like, we've been searching for this ship for years, implying at least 3, let's say, on top of that 17, so 20 years. Then later in the episode, we find out that Captain Chakotay was the captain of this prototype ship, the Protostar. And the math just doesn't work out, because what was going on in this year as far as Star Trek history goes, Samuel?
Well, and not just that, obviously, but the context of the ship, it has the Prodrive, 4,000 light years in maybe a minute, full working holodecks that feel real, knowledge of Janeway, and of Voyager, and of Talaxians, because they had that as a program, so they have all the knowledge of Voyager's travel, which obviously takes place after, which makes sense to Chakotay stuff, and all the advanced technology of real-time holograms on the bridge. The ability to have this big open dome window view screen front window thing, which seems very advanced. Lots and lots of very advanced tech and certainly the design that looks not as appropriate for the era. You know, if it was lost, if it was crashed, if it was at least known about, or at least if the Diviner wanted to search for it 20 years before, which is very reasonable. Well, just 17 years ago, let's go right to that technical, 17 years ago. Well, that was TNG Season 3. That was yesterday's Enterprise season.
That was the year Ensign Kim entered Starfleet, before he was an ensign.
So I don't think Chakotay was a captain on an experimental ship in the Delta Quadrant while Harry Kim was an ensign. Was a cadet, sorry.
Fleet. He would have been in Starfleet, but he wouldn't have been a captain by any means. And he also had a different uniform, if you'll notice in the episode as well. So, yeah, he's like post-Voyager Chakotay, for sure. So I think something probably went wrong with the experimental prototype drive, and they went back in time.
Also possible. Because, this full 20 years ago, it's TNG Season 1, which gives you a very, very clear bump point. At that point, Chakotay was still in Starfleet, and that was even before he joined the Marquis, which was 5 years later. So he was full Starfleet, just doing his life. He's actually older than you think Chakotay is in the show. He's just doing his thing. But clearly, the ship is from that future then. There isn't really a way around that now, which does explain why it looks so advanced. And the uniform Chakotay wears isn't the Picard future uniform, isn't the Picard future uniform. It is, now also the comm badge is also, which might explain why the Protostar badge looks so different, because it's a future badge. And it doesn't need to be much future. I mean, how long was Kirk a captain, with an Admiralty in between, but how long was he a captain for, and other such captains? I mean, you'd be a captain for 30, 40, 50 years. And so Chakotay could easily be in, the equivalent of like Picard season 13, and that's why the ship looks more advanced. I mean, I all but confirms it. At the very least, because that would seem odd that the ship gets found the same year it was launched. Like, even assuming it was, launched and went back in time itself. So from the present to the past 20 years ago, and they found it at the time it was originally launched. We might get then 2 Chakotays, because one in the present, or is he from the future back? Because either way, there should be 2 Chakotays at the present, which means we might then see a Chakotay and a Janeway hang out in the Alpha Quadrant, while a Chakotay and Janeway hang out in the Delta or the Gamma Quadrant, I guess now. Boy, that's exciting.
It's got to be assumed. I mean, we know that Captain Chakotay is going to be in the show. We know that he's got a crew. One of them is the actor Jason Alexander. Are those just going to be strictly flashback scenes, or are the crew of the Protostar now going to have to go and rescue Chakotay? Like,
the crew of the Protostar rescue the crew of the Protostar?
Yes, exactly. Are they going to have to go back and rescue them? Maybe they've been in prison for 17 years, or well, yeah. I mean,
boy, Chakotay's going to be very, very old at this point.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be like a present day Chakotay or just it's going to be the flashback crew that we're going to see once they actually access the logs.
So you're saying we'll get flashbacks into the future?
Yes.
And then flashbacks into the TNG Season 1 in the Delta Quadrant. Maybe
yes.
he's the one that gave the caretaker the ideas. Especially if they can 4,000 light years.
Yeah. You need to pull this ship into the future or over into the Delta Quadrant at this point.
Because 4,000 light year jumps mean this thing can easily hop between quadrants, and with enough time can easily retread the entire route of Voyager if you're willing to spend the time. But while they did stop the recordings quickly when they started saying, but they did say it was sent into the Delta Quadrant, not lost, sent. And if this is, say, 10 years later than the present, then who knows what politics has changed in the Delta Quadrant, and he's, as we'd said in our previous predictions of having his own ship, might then be, well, we need to go help the Delta Quadrant. We've got the fastest ship ever, which they say in the episode, fastest ship ever designed. It can hop over. It's small, but it's still got enough stuff, and the relative size to... And that would also explain, as I've said previously, why things like the 3D printer feel more one step too far, potentially, because it is 10 years later. It's different style. All the stuff,
ship replicator.
The ship, exactly, yeah, that is very advanced. But it's what a get out of jail free card, especially since stuff being classified does somewhat mean something. The only reason the character got into the system is because she knew the password based on her own old language of her planet, which is another... What? Maybe it's her own passcode given Chakotay in the future as part of the ship so that she can unlock it in the present, which would make sense. Predestination paradox style.
There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of time travel shenanigans going on. Well, maybe not time travel, but time issue-y things.
Or are we doing alternate universe stuff?
That could be another thing.
Which is more interesting,
Both. Do that. Well, yeah. But yeah, we've said many times that it's very Kelvin-like, the design. So, and we've actually made that theory. We've done a few theory videos, or at least talked about it in lives, where it could be from the Kelvinverse, and that could be quite interesting.
These people all still lived, and it makes sense the ship's more advanced. If it is from the present, 20 years ago, TNG Season 1, Kirk got so much more advanced than Kelvin by the Season 2, whatever. And we know that Yor had a TNGS uniform in that timeline, so Janeway having Voyager uniform isn't too against the grain. Just it's all screwed up when things happened, but it still happened in the Kelvin timeline. But it also had the Kobayashi Maru, also the Enterprise D, also had Scotty, so that doesn't work because it had Prime Kirk and Prime Spock, so it can't be alternate universe that different because it had all of those people in it, and the ship has never been to Federation.
But when they pulled up Choose Your Crew, there was the All Good Things badge.
There was that could be the hint we need.
Yeah, there was a few things there. There was even like the Future Imperfect badge for some reason.
Because we did see Chakotay at the end, but you could get a sense the uniform was not one we've seen before. Fantastic. And you did sort of see a com badge. Yeah, it was a Protostar one. But that would have been great if it had been the Future Imperfect badge. Everyone comes from that future. Kind of makes sense. But he doesn't look too old either. He's got a bit of grey, but he certainly doesn't look much older. But again, hair is a choice. You could be grey at 20, you could be grey at 130 in this Trek world. It's just a pigment. So even if it's alternate universe, it's Prime adjacent. But it must be time travel. It must be a ship from the future, which does give you all the caveats. It lets you do all the things. But then you have two concurrent stories in theory. Either you have a story that you can have both the present day versions of Janeway and Chakotay, or you tell a Federation story by not ever going to the Starfleet, by only having it through his future crew. So only ever, like, they make, like, maybe Chakotay says, well, we can't go back to Starfleet, we can't go back to the present, we can stay here, we can do good here now. And so you do get a Starfleet crew and the kids, but it's a future crew, which means, and because we know things get overrode so often in Trek, Endgame, and all good things, it's an alter future now, and so you kind of get, if they really want to bring Chakotay back for some reason, here you go, alternate future. Like, just, well, yeah, but it also becomes an Endgame. Very much so. Future Janeway came back, now it's future Chakotay, but it was an accident because the Pro Drive tapped into the mycelial network and used that.
Anyway, what we're saying is there's lots going on. We're gonna hopefully get answers.
TNG
We got a lot of
Season
episodes.
1. Doesn't look TNG Season 1 as a ship.
Yeah, we got a lot of answers coming out, hopefully. So, yeah, we're looking forward to this ride. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Time travel, yes or no? Comments below. But I felt like we proved the point. Boy, curveballs.
That's right. Yeah, comment down below. Let us know your theories. Have a discussion with other Trekyardians, as we call our community. And make sure you are a part of that community by hitting that subscribe button and making sure that you like the video. Click the notification bell icon to all so you don't miss any of our lives where we talk with you guys in real time. Not in the past, not in the future, although it could be when you watch the lives.
That's true, Stuart. It's the opposite, really.
Right?
We always talk to you from the past.
Not during lives. It could be right then and there.
I mean, post-live. Yes.
I was getting there. But anyway, if you want to join us for the lives and things, you can do so. Just make sure you click the notification bell icon. So they're always fun discussions.
And if you want to support what we do here on Trekyards, all of our sub videos, etc., then please support on Patreon, PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com. Join the channel on YouTube or Super Chat during those lives. All great ways. Or shirts down below. Many links and great quality. So if you want to buy one, get one, gift one, please do.
So until next time, guys, he is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
And we will see you guys in the future. Or in the past.
But we just came from the future from Discovery.
I know. Well.
Lost in futures.
I hate temporal mechanics.
Bye, guys.
Bye.